Well, Terry, after 2 months,
It hadn't been 2 months.
our last show was the Christmas show.
Wow. Well,
It has been 2 months. Ben Harris texted me this morning, actually, before without him knowing we were going live today. He just sent me a sad face and showed me his podcast. Said last updated December 20 something.
yeah. Well, it's a busy time of the year, and this is a time of the year when I travel. So
Totally get it.
if we don't, you and I got to do a better job of lining up our schedules and knowing when because if we don't plan when we're both coming and going, we'll miss each other. So
Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, between your travels, my travels, I mean, I'm going to Disney twice in 3 weeks here in a couple of weeks.
And since they've announced Rogers the musical, I'm definitely going to Disneyland sooner rather than later.
I could do this all day.
I even wore my Avengers Campus hoodie. One of my favorite pieces of Disney merchandise I've ever purchased, actually.
For those wondering, this is the old school Disney Spirit jersey. So
that might be one of the better looking Spirit jerseys I've ever seen.
I've got this one, and then I bought the new Stitch one, which is awesome.
Do I walk up to the Spirit jerseys and say, "Man, I'm just jonesing for a $79 long sleeve T-shirt"?
You know, I thought that too, but they fit better than most long sleeve T-shirts. It's
now
the
Disneyland has a black one that's hard to get. That's a Spirit jersey pullover hoodie. Now that's a different story. That hits different.
That hits different. Hey, I've never noticed. Is that a window to your right? Behind the little file cabinet there?
A window?
Like, all right, what's behind? Is that a bookshelf behind the file cabinet, or?
Oh, there's my bookshelves over there, yeah.
Okay. It kind of looks like a window.
It's
I think your camera is a little bit
different. Is it
askew? It's a little different centered than it normally is. So
it is a little I probably kicked the camera stand.
Yeah, I've done that a few times too. I can only see part of Dumbo's ear. So
it normally goes the other way, huh? Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Anyway, things that you go.
What you do see though is the original. What you don't always get to see, the original Disneyland flag.
Ooh,
that you could buy in Marceline at the Family Museum.
Now that is one place I do want to go, but I don't know if I ever am going to go to Marceline. To be honest with you,
I've actually thought about getting a tour together. If anybody's watching it live. Say, dude, I'm done with this. I've thought about starting in Chicago and maybe getting dinner with someone like Tony Baxter or somebody like that to talk about Disney history, and then go to Marceline, and then go to Kansas City, and then go to Anaheim and kind of take the full. Here's Walt's trajectory.
How far what's the distance between? Well, hey, Walt. Speaking of,
that's Oswald.
Oh, what's the distance between Marceline and Kansas City?
90 minutes.
Oh, okay. So it's Birmingham to Huntsville, or Nashville to Huntsville.
Or like Birmingham to Cullman.
Oh, no, that's about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if you... But, dude, Kansas City's a huge... Kansas City has a very broad definition of what is Kansas City.
Yeah. Which, oh, by the way, I am listening. It's a very, very short book. I'm doing it in very small segments. But listening to the book, Buying Disney's World. Little known fact. Did you know... Oh, you have it, don't you?
I've got... There's a guy... What's the guy's name? I've got the book about him.
It is... Oh, come on.
I've got a good stack of random...
It's a lady that reads it. Erin Goldberg.
This one's a great one, too, is...
Walt's Disneyland.
Walt's Disneyland. It's a little, picture type book, so it's...
Yeah. But what I was saying about that, did you know that Elias met... I can't remember what Walt's mom's name was, but Elias met Miss Disney in a suburb of Orlando, which is a ghost town now. So it wasn't just totally random that he went to Florida.
There you go.
So there you go. All right. We're 5 minutes in. I think it's time we start this this puppy.
Yeah. What's the main guy that book's about? I've got there's another book by
Aaron Goldberg.
No, there's a book about the guy that's the sponsorship guy. I've got it here somewhere. I've been reading a lot of books about Roy. There's Bob Thomas, who wrote the best Walt. This book's out of print, but if you're since we're doing pre-show, we're doing fun stuff. Bob Thomas, and they're about to re-release this, but this is the one he wrote about Roy.
Oh, cool.
It's the same size as like the book about Walt, but it's about,
Yeah.
There's another book kind of by Bob Thomas called The Sorcerer's Brother. Not by Bob Thomas, but a little thinner, but just about Roy and his role in it all. And
see, I as much as I love, like, I wish Roy got a lot more love.
Absolutely.
I still say Roy should have been. You should have gotten Roy with the Disney World Cinderella Castle instead of Walt with Sleeping Beauties. But I don't know if I'd want to read a story about Roy, because Roy was the button pusher. He was the penny pusher. And so really, I don't think he had this artsy background that Walt had.
Roy was the implementer, though. Roy was the guy that Walt would walk in and go, "I want to do this," and Roy would go, "Oh man,
right? No,
let's figure that out." Right?
Yeah. And so I don't,
and as much as you like to think of him as the no man, right? He was more like, "Walt, do you realize what you just said you would do?" And it's like a prime example is the story, which is there's a great detail in this book about the Lost Weekend story.
The Lost Weekend story.
The Lost Weekend is the weekend. This will be fun for anybody in the feed, and it won't go on the show. But the weekend before, Roy was actually flying, or he was going to New York. I don't know how he was getting there at the time.
Yeah.
One would assume probably plane, because it was an important meeting. He was basically going to meet with Bank of America to get the money to build Disneyland.
So this is okay. This is
literally Thursday. Roy walks in and goes, "Dude, I don't have anything to take to show these people on Monday." And that's where the famous map came out. That is now I think
from Thursday to
Monday.
Monday.
Walt talked his buddy Irby Ryman into literally just bribed him with burgers and said, "Hey man, spend the weekend with me." And that's the weekend where if this map was drawn.
Good grief.
Which is the map that used to be if you went to One Man's Dream.
Right.
They replaced his office with this view of this map.
Man. I'll tell you, One Man's Dream was I want to go see it now in the 100th.
Well, I've actually got an interesting thought about that. So with that, that'd be a great place to start.
That would. All right. Well, I'm going to hit the little intro, and we'll see you in a little bit.
This is Top of the World, the Disney Vacation Club podcast. A proud part of the WDW Today and Laugh-O-Gram Studios family. Join us as we talk parks, points, perks, and all things DVC, and how to get the most out of your membership. Here they are, Dave Adams and Terry Weaver.
Well, welcome home. I'm Terry Weaver.
And I forgot how to do this.
Well,
I'm Dave Adams.
Yeah, it's been too long.
It has been.
Well, hopefully, and if we go live and do this show, so if you want to ever watch the show online, we did a whole bunch of pre-show. So
yeah,
you kind of missed it.
It was if you're not on our Facebook, why not?
Yeah, you're not in the Facebook group. You didn't hear. We talked about the famous Lost Weekend. We talked about Roy. We talked about Walt's parents' marital ties to Orlando. All kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. This is why you need to be part of the Top of the World Listeners Lounge. You get all this fun stuff.
Yeah, because if you're going to bother listening to us two yahoos yell at each other, You ought to at least get the benefit of hanging out with us in a Facebook group.
Right.
And
Well,
getting the chance to share your opinion of how crazy or how off base we are. So since we're just going for it, I've just come back from a trip.
oh boy.
I actually went to Walt Disney World earlier than I was supposed to because we got an ice storm here. And I read the tea leaves and figured I know how Southwest cancels flights with ice.
Did you talk to a meteorologist friend of yours?
I did not, but I was able to watch I have enough weather apps on my phone
Yeah.
that I could tell like this was probably going to be an ice. There was enough predicted, and the timing of it is what matters. And I knew that the ice storm was predicted at the time of my flight. And I knew 100% in the middle of the night it was going to be below freezing because I had like a 5:10 a.m. flight.
So let me tell you how bad it was in Nashville. We go up there. My daughter's psychiatrist is up in Nashville. So we go up there, and Amanda drives up there in her Tesla, and she slid all around this parking deck of the psychiatrist. It was a horrible ice storm. So you got out when you should have.
Yeah, it's ice is not something you mess with, and that's actually a good pro tip when you're traveling in the winter. And this really affects anybody that's north of the Florida Panhandle.
Yep.
Because
these storms even Jacksonville gets it sometimes. Even Jacksonville gets it sometimes.
Right. And so it's important to kind of be weather aware going into your flights and to know kind of what's happening.
Yep.
Because the early bird gets the worm when flights, our flight was packed. They were people wanted on that plane to get out of Dodge. And so we made it. We left way early. We left way early. We gave ourselves plenty of time. And the Nashville airport has just changed to a central security hub. So I knew that, it was going to be. I knew the stars had aligned for a nightmare.
Yep.
And so I wanted to give myself plenty of time, and I was glad I did. We got there, and our flight would have been canceled the next morning, and we were on our way to Jamaica to lead a mastermind that I was hosting in Jamaica, which was fantastic, and we can talk a little bit about that.
Hey, speaking of the Nashville airport real quick, have they finished anything yet, or is it still a mess?
They finished the central hub, so like the new, but they hadn't closed the southwest security side entrance, and I went through there as much as I wanted to see the new.
Right.
And we went to what's the hot chicken place that's in the airport? I can't think of its name right now. Party Fowl. It had a fantastic dinner. We were that early where we had time to sit and eat.
Oh wow!
Just because I knew, man, it was crazy. Like I knew we were going into crazy.
Yeah.
But we got there, and I had hotel points that we just stayed an extra night. It wasn't a big deal. But we had a good time doing that. So you and I had just talked about it, and we can come back to this later. So obviously, the Disney 100, the merch is flowing, and I'll share some merch that I bought there. So I thought, I want to go check out One Man's Dream because it's Disney 100. They've made a big deal about it. Currently, now this is probably going to change because someone's going to listen to this podcast, or someone from Imagineering is going to walk through looking for the same thing I looked through it for. Nowhere, zilch, nada. The date's not on the wall of 1923.
So I'll tell you, everything I've read is they're doing most of the 100 stuff on the left coast, nothing on the right coast.
That has nothing to do with the fact that it's a historical point in the history of the Walt Disney Company that they're going to make a big marketing campaign out of it, but they don't bother. I mean, dude, in the Disney, in the One Man's Dream, there are these little oval type, almost like 50s primetime looking logos.
Right.
Take that long for someone to have one of those designed and printed. An intern could have this Joker up by the end of the day tomorrow.
Easily.
I mean, genuinely shocking that historical, basically the One Man's Dream, if you haven't been, the whole thing is kind of based around the timeline of Walt. And they talk about, Walt's early years in Chicago and the, Marceline and sure. But if we're not going to talk about when he started the dang company that the whole theme park is about.
What's going on?
So, and I think, I know you hate when I talk about this, too, but I think that's a small representation of a little detail that we're missing that, you know, people are always like, is the magic back? There's lots of the magic that's back. There are lots of things that's back. Disney is at a really crazy crossroads right now. If you've heard the news, Disney is currently negotiating their cast members that are unionized, which isn't all the cast members, but a very, very large portion of them. I actually possess an unpopular opinion that I actually don't have a problem with the college program kids not being paid well and like basically paying to work there, because the experience they get to be able to put on the resume that they trained and learned at Walt Disney, it's a great life experience.
I have a friend of mine. She's a lot younger than me, but so is that college experience age. She was our daughter's babysitters for a long time, so a family friend who has done the DCP twice and is itching to go back. So it is, let's call it what it is. It is indentured servitude, but people love it.
One complaint I did have about it is during the pandemic, they took a lot of their parks access away from them because obviously parks were limited. If those people want to do anything in the parks, don't stop them.
Right.
Let them have the perks because you're not paying them.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying them, but you're not paying them a lot.
Well, you're paying them and then you're billing them. Their rent is taken out of their paycheck.
Right.
So, by the time they eat and such, it gets real gnarly quick. Now, the opposite of that is kind of the international program. If you come on the international program and you end up as a server, you're good.
Oh, yeah.
The servers, the Canadian servers.
Tip your servers.
Like, I'm on the international program. They're living in an apartment with 4 roommates and, making $130,000 a year. They're doing just fine.
Right.
Now, the kid running Space Mountain and hoping you don't die while you're on that attraction, he's eating ramen and losing money being there.
But
Disney has got to raise the whole way this has gone negotiated. And Tom Corliss, proud of you, friend. You've stood up. He's stood up. Everybody hates Tom Corliss, WDW News Today. But, dude, he has gone for the jugular. He's like, and everybody knows that he famously stopped the remodel of the Tiki Room again and the remodel of the Country Bear Jamboree because he leaked it and people were outraged.
Where does he get
the cast members don't?
Do you think he gets his information from true insiders?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing that Tom Corliss knows that the Disney company doesn't want Tom to know.
The Disney company itself? Or do you think he knows somebody that isn't afraid to lose their job?
Well, dude, if you're not making a good living, is it really that big of a deal if you lose your job?
Yes. It's let's put it this way. I'm making a decent living. Would I like to make more money? Would I want to make more money? Yes. Could I afford to lose my money? So you're getting some money, but you do something to jeopardize making some money, and now you make no money?
A lot of them, dude, would honestly be better off if they made no money because they would be forced to actually do something to actually pay their bills. It's one thing to operate in a deficit when you're in the college program and mommy and daddy can send you money. It's another thing when you have 2 kids and are living in an apartment in a quote unquote apartment in Kissimmee. That's really a Super 8 hotel that lost their Super 8 license 15 years ago and only has power 2 or 3 days a week.
So I guess I wonder, and maybe I need to read a lot more about this. But how much of the Disney cast member population, let's say, are in that bracket?
Tens of thousands.
Okay. That's where I need to do some more research because
I mean, if you think about it, they're the largest single-site employer in the world. So, I mean, it's going to be, and you think about the cast members that make your trip better.
Right.
And dude, I had one of those. I had an interaction with a PhotoPass photographer that was horrid. And dude, I mean, she's can't pay her bills. I just said we'd love a photo, and she's like, "A hello would have been nice." You know, like I get it. I mean, I didn't report her to anybody or call anybody out or, I mean, I'm calling her out now, but I don't know her name I'm not going to tell you where I encountered her. But let's just say that's not what we're looking for. Like when you have people that feel that way, something's wrong. So the pay, dude, is definitely. I mean, we're talking about raising their pay to $18 an hour. My Aldi grocery store, Chick-fil-A, all those places all pay more than that.
How much are they making right now?
I think some are in the $13, $14 an hour range. Which, I mean, ideally, you don't want to stay at a job making minimum wage. That's not the goal. I know minimum wage is just the
$7.50 now, I think, isn't it?
No, I think it's more than that. But I mean, yeah, it's gonna. I mean, Universal basically raised their minimum up and brought anybody that was already hired up to basically $18 an
hour.
Yeah, which is more appropriate, I think, for people making an actual living. And I mean, no one has said being a ride operator is necessarily a career, but a lot of people have made that decision because they love Disney and they love what the company they love what the idea of the company stands for, not necessarily what the company stands for.
Yeah,
and Bob Iger and the precious Joshie Tomorrow have gone around and been like, the cast members are the magic. They're who make all the magic, and you're right, they are. So pay them.
So I'm looking at it. Florida minimum wage in September of this year, so the end of the fiscal year, will be $12. So I'd say at fiscal year at the end of this year, if they are not making 15 or above, something is wrong.
Oh, it's got to be. They're not going to sign it because they're negotiating with it and they haven't raised 1 cent. And Universal set the minimum. Because Universal said it's $18 an hour. That's the minimum. So that's what the market. That's not the market. That's not the market.
Well, Universal has a lot more issues than that.
Oh, dude. We're not solving all the world's issues. We're just trying to get the people that actually make our trips magical paid.
Totally agree. They deserve more money. I am wondering though, and please don't crucify me in the comments here. I am for making these people have a lot more money. But I'm wondering where Disney comes up with this because did you listen to the earnings call in February? Okay, I listened to it. They are hemorrhaging money. Look at their stock prices now. They're losing money. So where does Disney come up with these $3, $4, $5 extra an hour more to pay these cast members?
Well, dude, I mean, I will say this is probably the first trip where I noticed it everywhere, just how much more everything costs.
Right. Which, although Iger has said he wants to walk that back.
And it's not like, oh, the French fries are 15 more cents. No, it's the French fries were $3.50 last time and they're $7 this time.
Right. But Iger said he wants to walk some of that back.
And I'm saying, don't pay the people.
Okay. I am okay with that.
I'm saying I'm getting it. You guys are nickel and diming us to death. I will take it if you just pay the people.
Yeah.
I'm way more interested in the bottom line of the individuals that make the magic, the person that checks me in, the person that sells me my carrot cake cookie, the person that makes my latte, the person that says have a magical day, the person that I scan my, magic band and that says welcome home. I want those people to be happy and to continue to want to make it because that's what makes, I don't care what anybody says. Walt even said it. It's the people that make it possible.
Oh, 100%. It's every one of those cast members that you interact with that day. It's not Bob Iger. It's not Josh Tomorrow. It's those cast members that you are supposed to be. Keep that cast member compliment card. Just.
Oh, dude, I wore out the app. If I had a good experience with a cast member, I wore it out.
All right, this is Brad. See Canada. All Dave Chapek cares about is the shareholders. Come on, man. You know that's not true. I am a share. We are both
company man Adams over here.
We are both shareholders on this show. Do we want more money in our share? Yes. But do we want the cast members happy? Even more, yes. Because I believe what sets Disney apart is the cast members.
Yes. And so if they don't get this fixed, they might as well close the doors.
I won't go that far.
No, if they don't get this fixed, I'm that adamant about it. If they don't take care of the people that actually make the place great, it does. Mickey Mouse can't fix everything.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we need to talk about this next year. What does Disney do when they lose Mickey Mouse?
Well, it's really just about Steamboat Willie. It's not really. I don't think they're going to actually lose because they update the look of Mickey Mouse on the reg.
Yeah, but if you lose Steamboat Willie, that's a big deal.
I mean, yes, and /but/ I'm not a copyright attorney. I can't even begin to understand the complexities of it all. But Disney's not going to stop earning money on it and stop selling products with it on it and stop selling licenses on it.
Right. So they won't. But, right now they hold his copyright.
I mean, we're talking about, is Lego going to go and make like rogue products without him? No.
Are we going to get a Mickey Mouse murder movie like we got with Winnie Pooh? I mean, we could see an unauthorized Mickey Mouse murder movie like we got with Winnie the Pooh.
I actually kind of want to watch a movie where Mickey just has it. I want to watch a movie where Mickey just loses it on Donald Duck. And there's just a scene of Mickey and Minnie having Peking duck because Donald went off the rails.
Oh, boy.
This duck is fantastic.
This hot dog tastes like Pluto.
Well, that got weird.
All right, Terry. All
right, so trip report. So we went down. We had a couple extra days. The best way for me to do a trip report after doing a bajillion of these over the years.
I just want you to talk bad about Saratoga Springs.
Oh, gosh.
Because I'm actually going there in April.
Well, I'll do that. That's kind of at the tail end of our trip.
Okay.
Let's see here. Looking for photos.
Now, I'm not editing this part out. Come on.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, we got down there and we flew down, got our rent-a-car, spent kind of a day. We went to Disney Springs. I had to hit up that. We were there February 1st is when we got there. So the natural thing to do is it's the middle of the week. Let's hit up the Gideon's release of the month and get and get our peanut butter cold brew iced coffee. Which if you haven't had their peanut butter cold brew iced coffee, I know it sounds disgusting, but I'm literally Googling nonstop about how to make this beverage at home. So hit up Gideon's, was fantastic. And then kind of took my mother-in-law around Disney Springs, just to kind of show, hang out and see what was there. And then we went to Flying Fish.
Nice.
And had a fantastic dinner. There was some Disney VIPs in there. I have no idea who they were. There was definitely some older and younger Imagineers that I had no idea who they were. Which means they're kind of people who are probably behind the scenes, but
there's more than 9 Imagineers now. So
yes, I mean, dude, at one point there was 1,200. I don't know what they're down to right now.
Good grief!
But kind of spent some time, just chilling around there, and then shopped at the boardwalk, and then we knew we were getting up the next morning and going to the airport. And so really didn't. We went to Steakhouse 71. That's what we did. We got up and went to Steakhouse 71 that morning.
How's that? I've heard good things about that breakfast.
Yeah, dude, it's one of my favorite breakfasts. You're right there. If you're right there and you end up forgetting where your car is in the parking lot, and so I just end up in the Magic Kingdom. It's convenient. It's right there. So we did that, and my mother-in-law, like, we had taken her there one other time, and she knew that was where the thing was. And then we headed to Montego Bay, and had a great time at my event there, and it was a lot of we relaxed a ton, and
Good.
got to connect and hang with a lot of my best clients. And next year, we're not going to Jamaica. We're going on a Royal Caribbean 8-night cruise to the Southern Caribbean. So if you want to come mastermind with us, mastermindatsea.com for 2024. That's one of the first places where I've actually that website doesn't go anywhere right now, but that's where it's going to be. If you want to go, reach out and let's connect for sure.
I would say I know a good travel agent that can book it, but I know you already know a good one.
Well, John Rogers is my boy.
Yeah,
he
that's what I say.
But I know we have worked out a deal to try to figure out how to help other travel agents, because I know some travel agents are going to want to go.
Yeah.
And then we went to when we got back, we went straight to the Magic Kingdom after putting my mother-in-law on a plane home. We went over to I just needed food because we had been traveling all day, so we went and had the nachos at oh gosh, what is that called? Captain Cook's.
Oh, okay.
Captain Cook's, and then we took the boat over to got on the list for Trader Sam's, and then took the boat over to see my friend that participates in the fireworks festivities at the Magic Kingdom, and knew this was the last time we'd be able to go see that as part of before Happily Ever After comes back.
Woohoo! Which, by the way, is it time to say Dave was right?
I don't think I think we're going to see both of us being right. I think we're going to see a modified version of the old show. I think we're going to see some new scenes, some new images. I would be shocked if it's the same.
You have to have some new images. I mean, you have to.
Yeah. So we went to Trader Sam's, and those idiots closed their kitchen at 10 p.m.
Yes.
Dumbest thing ever. We're in the lobby. We've got money to spend. And so we go upstairs to the bar and thinking, oh, maybe they're still ill, but no, they closed their kitchen. Now, granted, mind you, the Magic Kingdom is open for 2 more hours. There is no reason. And this is one of those things. It's like, we talk about Disney nickel and diming and wanting more money and needing to figure out more money. Keep my money. If I'm on property, I don't want to go off. I don't want to spend my money off property. I'm in the lobby of a hotel, and there's no way I can give you money to eat. Unless I go have the same nachos I had for lunch.
Which I'd be okay with.
I mean, they're fantastic. They're, Kahlua pork nachos, but I didn't. I Uber Eats something. So we got Wawa subs, which is absurd. It's the fact, and I get it. We were with some cast members, and they're like, "Oh, we can't hire anybody." I don't want to hear it. No longer, if you're in business, no longer is the excuse the pandemic, the supply chain, the this, that, the other. It's you have a leadership problem.
Let's not get started on that, because I caused a fight on your Facebook about that issue.
Oh, you did, but I mean, it's true, dude. It's to the point where it's like, okay, you've got to people have to start, like,
they have to start take responsibility.
And I know now, and I know like you said, the responsibility is to cast members and like shareholders, right? So like,
right.
As a shareholder, you lost money because I sent my money to Wawa to get a sub.
Now, I will say this. So as the
sub is, don't get me wrong, fantastic.
Yeah.
Better than pub subs.
So, there's fighting words.
Wawa's legendary.
So I'll say this. As somebody who works with supply chain, there is still an issue with supply chain.
Sure.
So it's not.
But the kitchen. Here's the exact thing. The kitchen that bar uses is the kitchen that Ohana uses, and Ohana was open till 11:30 that night.
Okay, there's a problem there,
right? And half of the food is the wing. One of the noodles and the wings. They're already making that food.
Right.
They just need to throw it on a plate for me.
Yep, I get that.
That's just a logistics that somebody can't figure out how to solve a problem. That's all that is.
There is an issue there. I will give you that.
I mean, because you think about it at scale. How many people get home from a resort? I mean, I watched it all over property, and it's retraining people how to do Disney. There were Uber Eats drivers and pizza delivery companies and people eating food in the lobby all over the place.
If you know anything about Walt Disney, that is so anti Walt Disney himself, it's crazy. The reason Walt went to Florida was because basically the world came to Anaheim when they saw how popular Disneyland was. Correct. So he made Walt Disney World a bubble so that you can get away from the outside world. So bringing the outside world in. Now, am I saying don't get food in Florida, don't help the Orlando economy? No. But if you want to go off property, do it. But if you want to stay in your little bubble.
Yeah. And I was ready to bubble in. I had been in an all-inclusive resort. I was ready to just hunker down.
Right. We should be able to do that.
I was ready to buy them dinner. Right. And or at least some apps.
Yeah. So
we walked out of Trader Sam's because they're like, yeah, all we have is wonton chips.
No.
And I was at the hangry point, right? Like the last thing I had that was a full meal was breakfast in Jamaica at 9 a.m.
Let's not talk about Terry getting hangry.
Yeah,
angry Terry is bad enough.
And so yeah, and Disney's gonna have to figure. They're gonna have to. That's causing. If they could fix that problem alone, they'd have the money to pay their cast members.
Yep.
Because every night they're losing money to pizza delivery places, and if you go to all the resorts, there's menus under your thing because they know if you can't find food, you're going to go get it elsewhere. And I think that the monorail and the food courts in the now granted, remember this is a weekend, which I don't ever recommend any human being ever going on this weekend again, which is apparently the first full weekend of February every year. There are 23,000 cheerleaders on property that weekend.
Oh no.
Right. And so when do teenagers want to eat? They eat the fourth meal, bro. And so it's nonsense.
Yeah. All right.
So got up the next day, met some friends for lunch, and went to a place that I don't actually have any human recollection of ever going. We went to Garden Grill.
Which the food is great.
Let me just say, our meal was it was an all-you-care-to-eat experience, and it was fan-freaking-tastic, dude. Only place on property where Disney has sweet tea.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they have sweet tea.
I've been to Garden Grill multiple times, and I've never thought to order sweet tea because you're in Florida.
Yeah. So it's worth going there if for no other reason. The character interactions were great. That restaurant is great. The food, the green beans of all things were fantastic.
Oh, I know. The strawberry, the berry shortcake at the end is a little
shortcake at the end. What's the main dish? Is it like a roast beef or something or
brisket? I had brisket.
Yeah, dude, it was all around just a fantastic meal.
Yeah.
And then we dove straight into the Festival of the Arts, or farts as people affectionately like to call it. And got some Disney art.
There you go.
We got an amazing piece from Rob Cause of Animal Kingdom of angry Donald Duck on the safari chasing down a rhino.
And he's not Peking duck yet?
No. And Tim Rogerson, he's one of our favorite kind of up-and-coming Disney artists. He did a piece called Disney Brothers, which is Mickey and Oswald. And if you're on the feed, let me see if I can show this on my camera. I'll post the art we got in the Facebook group. But it's the famous picture of Walt and Roy in 1923 when they started the studio. And Walt is obviously Mickey and Roy is Oswald. So that came out of D23, and I've been kind of wanting to have that. And then we went to go get our elusive pass holder Dumbo magnet, which everybody has been very concerned that I've not gone to get. So we went and got that.
I actually I had a couple of I actually know one of the top of the world listeners who got it for me, and I really from the bottom of my heart I want to say a huge
and that meant they
huge thank
gave
you.
you someone in their families because they're very
Right.
strict about those right now. And
Yeah.
it's absolutely silly that if I mean,
Yeah. But anyway, I just want Jamie Monroe.
shout
Thank
out.
you
And
so much.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then we went to go get all of our art signed and that we bought, and went to go watch Trevor Carlton, who if you've ever seen us live, the piece behind me is by Trevor Carlton.
Cool.
And so he's a good dude, and we always like to go and support and see him paint live. But I'll post a couple images in the group of our art experience. So those of you who want to come and check that out. And I think we had other plans for dinner, and it kind of like the weather was kind of turning on us, and we were tired, and so it got dark. It got dark and then it poured. And so we were like, oh, it's going to pour. And you knew it was one of those Florida rain showers. I was like, we are right here. We were walking out. We were trying to beat it and we didn't beat it. We're like, you know what? By the time we take a slow spaceship Earth ride, it'll be over. And so we did. And then
look, I know people are saying that it's time to update Spaceship Earth.
And
it might be. But if you update it, they're going to take away Dame Judi Dench. And I don't know if I'm okay with that.
Fair enough.
I mean, granted, you do end at Steve Jobs's garage, so that's like 1981.
Yeah.
So we've got 42 years now of updates.
And then we went to one of our favorite, and if you were on the dining plan, it's only one, which they promised us the dining plan would be back. They promised us all the trams would be back, and they're still not back at the studios or Epcot, which is also utter and complete nonsense. So for those of you who are like, oh man, that's, I ran my GPS from the one end of the Epcot parking lot, just a row. Like walking a row is walking over a quarter of a mile.
Good grief.
Like a row at the end of the last two lots.
Yeah.
That's a long way for someone that may have a slight disability or an injured knee or who doesn't happen to hasn't gone to get a handy. It's just they need to get the tram up and going again.
Agreed.
I'm honestly surprised someone hasn't done an ADA lawsuit about it.
I agree. I do think the trams are essential.
And then we went to hit up Toledo at Disney's Coronado Springs, one of our favorites.
I still have never been.
And we always get the ribeye for two. It's like $100. It was $110. When we first started going there, it was like $59. And this restaurant's not been open, but it opened when that tower opened, which was like 2018. So, the cost of the meal there has almost doubled in perspective in the last couple of years. But still, fantastic value, fantastic restaurant. Love it. And we were actually staying at the Wyndham for these first 2 nights of us coming back because that's where the thing will be in November. So we were there filming some content. It was super, super windy. And so we kind of stayed out of the parks.
Are you saying the Wyndham was windy?
No, just it was super. Yeah, it was the park. It was just Orlando weather was in full effect.
Got it.
But yeah, so Saratoga, dude, we checked in on Sunday there, and obviously they've gone to more like depending on online check-in, and they've literally taken out like half of the check-in people out of the lobby. So like we had done a hey, we'll be arriving at 9:30 because I figured that ought to give them enough time to have our room ready by midday. It was like 2:00. We had gone. I don't remember what we had for lunch that day, but I was ready to be done. Right. I was ready to check in our room, and our room wasn't ready. So I go to the lobby, and dude, it was a cluster. And I know this is, cast members hiring or whatever. The supply chain of Windex is a problem, but it was not a fun experience.
Do you think it was because of the cheerleaders or what?
There were some groups staying at Saratoga, not very many. I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Now, granted, what's always amazing when you go up and go to the desk, they always manage to find a room for you. Now, granted, you have to know to ask, and I know to ask.
And ask nicely, of course.
No, I was always super kind. I'm always super kind on this stuff. It's not their fault.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely, it's not what people should be experiencing as their first experience of a trip. I mean, it's the first, if you're staying on property, and that's actually, if you're going to Disney, they got to get that. And what was odd, dude, is during the pandemic, all of my stays were flawless. Our check-ins were flawless.
Well, because there's less people coming in and going.
Well, there was just DVC people coming.
Right. Now you're getting, I don't want to say the dredge of society, because that's not what it is, but you're getting everybody coming in, and not just your DVCs, not just your annual pass holder. I believe you're truly still seeing revenge vacations.
Yeah. I think there were some days that felt like empty, and some days that, depending on if you could figure out the flow of the cheerleaders and you weren't, I mean, and that's a good sign, dude. I mean, I'm happy that Disney's got groups back. I really am.
Yeah.
I will say that night we went to Hollywood Studios, and as Hollywood Studios, I think, closed at like 10:30 or 10, maybe an odd time, but they had an after party for them that night. And as 20,000 cheerleaders were going into Hollywood Studios, I have never been happier in my life to leave a Disney theme park. But our main reason for wanting to get into our room at Saratoga is we had a 1-bedroom and needed to start doing clothes. Because when we decided to leave, we kind of threw an extra couple things in a bag and hoped we had
hoped you packed enough.
Yeah, and both my wife and I were down to very minimal of a couple of essential items that you typically, as a bachelor in my younger years, I might have just gone reversies on.
Things I never want to hear again for 100, Alex.
Yes, and so we went to Hollywood Studios on Sunday. Had a fantastic time there. Putzed around. We did some character meet and greets. With the Incredibles, which was a great, and then went and had a little snack of the old tachos, which I think are in Andy's backyard, which are fantastic. And it's great to see Andy's backyard back in full effect.
Right.
The Green Army men were out. Saw something that we had never seen. Leslie talked to a Green Army woman.
Really?
Yeah. Took some pictures with her. It was actually pretty fantastic. Went to go see went to Galaxy's Edge and putzed around a little bit, and then went to go see old Chewbacca.
Nice.
And then we had reservations that night for primetime, and we didn't know there was an after party. We thought, because we love getting like the latest primetime you can get, and then walking out towards the end. And when we walked out, I was like, okay. We got our beloved peanut butter and jelly shake. And then this is the part you wanted to hear about. That was Super Bowl night. So we were literally sitting there. We had the Super Bowl on at our table at prime time, which is what you're not supposed to use. Don't use your walkie-talkies, but we did. We didn't care that much, honestly, about
the only good thing about that Super Bowl was the Flash trailer. Where it had Michael Keaton as Batman again.
And the Chris Stapleton.
Oh, dude, that national anthem. That's how. Can we just do that every year?
Can Chris Stapleton just be in charge from now on?
Yes.
I don't remember feeling. And we watched some of the highlights, of course. And the game ended. It was a great ending to the game. We caught the tail end by the time we got to
it was not.
Unless you were an Eagles fan.
I'm not an Eagles fan, but that was not a pass interference. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, as a Alabama as an Alabama fan, you're definitely a professional. You definitely know how to be upset at bad calls in any of a game.
Oh, you got that right. But stop me if you've heard this one before.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was let down by his defense. Oh, I think I've heard that one a few times when he was at college at the Crimson and White.
Yes, of course you were rooting for your boy.
Yes, I was.
So, because you can't root for Tua because he doesn't remember that he's still playing football.
God, he needs to quit.
Oh man,
hands down, he needs to quit.
Yeah, but and then we got up and went to this is this is the trip. This is the part of the trip you wanted some intel for me on.
Yes, it is. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Then we got up and went to Animal Kingdom. And I got a reservation, like a 10:55 lunch reservation at Tusker House.
Nice. Which that's still breakfast.
No, it's basically it was right at 11 or 10:55. It was they actually have a gap now where they don't seat anybody for a pretty decent time.
Oh, really?
Oddly, that I never went during the pandemic when they brought that first back because I love that buffet and I didn't want to see it. It's a little weird because they moved the buffet around a little bit and they've seated people in the middle of another, like, oh, there's capacity here. Let's shove another 60 people in this place. So they're kind of in the middle of where it was like all the buffet area, but they've spread it out. It's cool. It's fine.
Right.
Still one of my favorite character meals. We did 2 character dining, which we haven't done in a while, but because they've been gone for so long and because we were kind of like making changes on the fly, we totally did it. And I'm glad we did. And Tusker House has always been one of our favorites by a mile. Now, the Animal Kingdom was very crowded, but luckily we had a private tour scheduled, or private-ish tour, called Caring for Giants. And
looking that up now.
Caring for Giants is what I wanted to do was I wanted to do the there's a rhino tour that only happens like at 11 once a day. But Caring for Giants happens like every hour on the hour, like 4 or 5 times a day. It's like 30-ish bucks.
Dang it, it's sold out the entire time I'm there.
Yeah, and it does sell out. But if you keep watching it, people will cancel.
Okay.
But dude, super fun. Great tour. And basically it takes you behind the elephant exhibit.
How close do you get to them?
I mean, you see my pictures. Like I would say the closest they can actually come to you is probably 20 feet.
Ooh. Okay. This is a must-do for an Alabama fan. Yeah, or an elephant fan. I love elephants.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun tour. We took a ton of pictures. I mean,
do you get to go behind and see the where they sleep and all?
You drive by it. They point it out. You get on a. Okay. You basically go. It's the same place you come and go from if you're on a VIP tour.
Right. Okay.
Right there. There's kind of that fence right past the safari.
Right.
So a driver picks you up. There's a bus of about whatever a bus full is, 16 people or whatever. And they take you back and you kind of go behind the safari and then they take you. Now, what was really, really interesting about ours is there was a truck broke down on the safari. So we had a good 30 minutes of our hour back there where there was nobody on the safari.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like, it was virtually silent back there. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But it was super fun to see the elephants. I mean, I posted, I think, a post about it if you want to go check it out. But, I mean, I was just using my iPhone camera. And we definitely got some great shots. And it's worth every penny, dude. I mean, the last time we did it was after the very, very first Thing event, and it poured rain the entire time. So I said, we're going to do this as long as it's not unless we know that it's going to rain, and then we'll cancel it. But the weather
Right.
was absolutely, it was like 71 degrees, 2 clouds in the sky. But, we loved it.
That's so cool.
Highly recommend Caring for Giants. And there's a couple of other tours like that where you can dine on the, there's one that you can dine on the Savannah. That's like that's closer to $200.
Right. And some of these tours, like you have to be a certain age to do
You
it.
have to be a certain age or a certain, Wild Africa trek. You can't be fat.
300 pounds is the max. I'm under that, so I'm good.
Yeah, you're
not too far under, but I'm under.
yeah. and there's no like, if you're 301, you're not getting on it. So don't wear heavy boots that day, kind of thing. That one's never really appealed to me, other than like mainly just because wearing a climbing harness just doesn't amp me up. So yeah, we were still kind of wore out just from being traveling for. This was a very slow trip,
which sometimes those are the best trips,
and we knew that. Like we knew that going in, we were pretty chill, and so we did that. And as soon as we got done with that, we got right on the safari. Because it had been closed, we were the first people they let back on the safari after the tour.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was perfect timing. And I asked the cast member. And then we went back to Epcot to kind of catch any of the other Festival of the Arts stuff that we hadn't seen. We kind of wanted to walk across World Showcase and catch the few.
Yeah. I know you sent me a picture of Harmonious going on.
Yeah, well, and we had dinner at San Angelo Inn because we love San Angelo Inn. But very rarely do we do it for dinner. It's normally a lunch. Because I still think the Three Calaveras boat ride is one of the best rides at Epcot.
Especially now that they've taken away the plexiglass, I felt claustrophobic.
Oh, dude, like I'll be straight up honest. I would go there and say, hey, I'm going to need to use, we have a DAS pass. I can't wait in that. Like, dude, I'm pretty sturdy. When that was there, I had to get out of line. They're like, are you okay, sir? I'm like, no, I'm not. I feel like I'm
a caged rat.
Yes, it's a Will Ferrell joke that I didn't want to be a part of.
Yeah,
a glass cage.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Yeah, dude, it's not fun. And so, by the time we got done at Epcot, that was Harmonious. It was deluxe guests night. So we literally walked out of Mexico and walked right into like the front, which I had never actually seen Harmonious straight looking on.
Oh, that's cool.
So we loved it. Had a great view for that, and then kind of slowly started making our way out, even though the rides were still open. We loved, my favorite thing to go do on Epcot extra and whatever not magical hours are called these days.
Guardians, because that would be mine.
No, because you still have to be in the queue, and I forgot. You have to queue at 5, and I forgot about it.
Oh.
My favorite thing to do is to go to the seas.
Really?
Yeah, dude, because you go upstairs after you get off, there's literally no one there. It's literally the most surreal, most peaceful, because it's got like all the sounds still piping.
I'd want to leave. Like I don't know why, but the seas is just not my favorite thing.
Love the seas, dude.
I live very close, and you do too, to one of the best aquariums in the Southeast.
Never been.
You've never been to the Chattanooga Aquarium?
I've been in their parking lot multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, you knew which one I was talking about, though.
Yeah, I knew you were talking about Chattanooga. And so we realized that like there's a sweatshirt my wife wanted, and we've been looking for the entire time.
Did she find it?
We have not found it in her size. So if anyone happens to see this sweatshirt,
I have a Disney shopper. I can. Yeah. So send it to me. I'll see what I can do.
Well, what happened was is all the little tiny cheerleaders, rather than buying the small size they are, all buy the adult, like, bigger sizes. But all
Right.
that was left in this was double X and small. But yeah, it's one of the ones from the vault. I'll definitely I'll see if you can I'll see if we can track. I mean, we went everywhere looking for this thing.
Okay. Yeah, send it to me. I'll see if my shopper can
And
find
then
it.
we went to I just noticed that one of our people saw me. They're like, and hey, if you see Dave or I in the park,
Please come say hi.
please say hi. Don't do the man. I saw you, but I didn't want to say anything. Please don't.
Please
nice
look. I honestly, Jonathan, I tracked him down in the park. I ran 3 or 4 parks. We had a couple of times we're going to meet, and I look. Please shoot me an email, shoot me a text, shoot me a message. I don't
Slide
care.
into my DMs, like
Yeah, slide in my DMs. But I think it's cool when people come and talk to us. Terry, I think I told you this one time. I was checking into a hotel, and someone said, "Wait a second, I recognize your voice. Are you Dave Adams?" And my wife would say, like she told this lady, said, "Oh, you just gave him the biggest head in the world." It's cool getting recognized, and cool to somebody come up and say hi to you.
Oddly, weirdest things ever happened to me. I will say though, we're in freaking Jamaica, dude, on this trip. And we had just checked into Southwest, and the Jamaican dude that's taken my mother-in-law because she needed a wheelchair because the airport's kind of crazy there.
Right.
It's like, hey man, you're on YouTube, man. He's like, I know you, man. I've seen you on the YouTubes. And so, like, okay, I'm big in Jamaica. I need to get a shirt that says I'm big in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And then we went to Magic Kingdom, which we hadn't really done much on this trip. Other than just to go see the fireworks. And I knew the first thing I wanted to do was go straight. I don't remember what we ate. I don't have any pictures of the food. I apologize for not remembering where I ate.
That should be the first thing you remember.
Yeah. I remember a latte. Lunches half the time at Disney aren't always the most like memorable things. We go to the nice dinners.
So you're saying you don't remember some things, but you remember a latte?
I do remember a latte because, dude, one of my favorite things in the world is to go to sit and have a latte and just people watch the park. And so we got a seat right there by the parade after having a latte. But before we did that, we went and rode the train. Had not done the train since it reopened.
Nice.
I'm so glad we did, dude. I'm so glad to have that thing back. Just hung out in the Magic Kingdom for the day. Really just slow, just enjoying it. And we had already seen Enchantment the night before. But yeah, man, just kind of just taking the time to enjoy the park, and took the time to go ride Dumbo, and like the train is closing at like 5 o'clock right now, which is silly when the park's open till 11.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, that's just come on.
Have they changed the part when you get into Frontierland? Because I know for the longest time it still had the Splash Mountain.
I think they have changed it.
Okay.
We got to I kind of stopped listening to it because the beginning of it was so perfect.
Right.
The new narration at the beginning is just glorious. Go find like Panda or somebody that's covered it. But the new narration on the train is it definitely will leave you misty eyed. We went and rode Dumbo because I love riding Dumbo at sunset. And then we wanted to shop our way through Emporium because we love the Emporium. It was hella crowded. But they had just put out, this is interesting, they had just put out all the Oswald 100 stuff.
Oh boy, how much did you come home with?
Oh dude, most of it.
Leslie got the ears.
Leslie got the ears. I already have the original Oswald ears from the old school ears. I've got those somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen the sheet ears. So we got those. And I had some of it in the cart. I had the T-shirt in the cart and the lamp. And I learned something that really kind of hacked me off about Shop Disney. Is I was going to buy it. The lamp was $79, but in the Emporium it was $59.
What?
And I got my discount, which they don't let me have in the Shop Disney app.
Huh. Okay then.
So I mean, by the time I got my discount, was like 50% off almost.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of hacked me off, to be honest with you.
And now the lamp sold out.
The Oswald lamp or the Studios lamp.
The Studios lamp.
Yeah, got that too.
Of course you did.
Yeah, but I ordered that before I got that was waiting for me when I got home. But dude, that was everywhere. And this was also Valentine's Day, so we went to Citrico's at the Grand Floridian for dinner.
Nice.
And had a lovely dinner.
By the way, Narcoossee's is opening again soon.
Oh, dude. Super stoked about that.
Yep. Walt and Oswald are having some fun back there.
Someone just showed up at my house.
Oh.
Either that or Leslie's having a really loud conversation with herself. So yeah, we did that. I guess we did that. We took some Mickey parrot character pictures, and then buzzed over to Hollywood Studios before we flew home. And then ended back up and snagged a last second reservation at Ohana's that we had switched around. So ended dinner at Ohana's, which was always Ohana's. I dig Ohana's every time. But we had a great trip. Picked up, some Disney art and then some of the Disney 100 stuff.
Cool.
And had a great time. And yeah, I mean, had we been going to go gung ho,
probably would have been disappointed.
Yes.
Yep. Honestly, I don't go gung ho at the parks anymore.
No.
Been there, done that. But
and that's honestly one of the biggest things. That's like if it gets to the point where I can't keep my annual pass, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Because the slow parks is the only way I enjoy it.
A couple years ago, we did it with some friends who don't get to go much. And I forgot what it was like to open and shut the same day.
Now, we definitely will open and shut, but that still doesn't mean,
no, like open, shut, and do 2 parks the same day.
Yeah, and do 73 attractions.
Yeah, I was done.
Those days are in my past. I'm not doing those anymore.
I'm not a young man anymore.
No.
So
my knees and the bottom of my feet are like, that's not gonna. They have a different opinion about the reality of that happening.
Agreed.
So yeah, man.
Well, cool.
Well, that's my trip report.
So
there's been some DVC news. Do you want to chat through it really quick?
Yeah, let's do it because the next I was just thinking the next time we record will probably be my trip report.
When do you leave?
I leave March 10th.
Yeah, we should probably try to record before you record again.
Yeah, we'll do the best.
The Disneyland Tower is up cash reservations. We still don't know anything about point reservations or a Disneyland Hotel DVC Tower or like if you can actually buy. I'm kind of waiting to see what they're going to offer there. I might actually buy direct points again.
I mean, it could be a big deal because it's impossible to get Grand Cal right now.
Yeah, I would buy enough for like a 3 or 4 night stay every other year.
Yeah.
So if that's 70 or 60 or whatever.
I think minimum purchase. Oh no, that's just for the card. We don't care about that anymore.
For what? What's the minimum purchase for financing through them?
Well,
I think
I'm not sure, but the minimum for a blue card is 100 now.
Yeah, I think it's 50 that you have to. Your minimum add-on is 50.
Right.
So,
which that'll be enough for 3 nights.
I'll figure out what the normal times I would go, and I would get enough points to do it. Yeah. Because we're a little point, but I'd love to be able to go to Disneyland at least every other year.
That would be
nice. Probably going to go this summer for a day or two just because I want to see Rogers the Musical live in person.
Like I said, I could do this all day.
Um,
I'm still
Hawkeye
a little
fantastic. Maybe the best thing Avengers ever did, if I'm being honest. I enjoyed it the most.
It was a good show. It was good.
It didn't feel like it. It just felt like they were having fun creating something special.
Yep, agreed. So we get that. I think that's going to be the best
Maybe
thing.
you're muted
for
some reason. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hold on. How about now? Because I can hold up. Let me test my settings here. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm still getting testing on. I'm still getting everything on my end. Huh. Let me go on Facebook and see if I'm still coming through. Give me a second here. I'm texting you here. They can hear me on internet. I can't hear you now. You're muted. Well, guys, so here we go. This is how we end the show, unfortunately. So what's going to happen is I don't know, but I will end it, and I guess I'll say we'll see you next time here on we'll see you next time here on Top of the World from our corner booth. Maybe. Oh, wait, Terry, I hear you.
You hear me now? Euler?
Yes, I hear you.
There we go. So yeah, we can finish the show. I don't know what just happened.
Well, here we go. Edit point.
Good times. I don't know what happened. That was weird.
Yeah.
I feel like StreamYard gets to a certain point where it's just like, okay, you don't get to talk to each other anymore. You've been online too long.
It is dinner time. So fat man's got to eat.
Yeah. Good times. Well, yeah, I mean, the other news is obviously the DVC tower has been announced, but we don't know a whole lot about that. We don't know how much it's going to cost.
It's going to, I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting because we might want to get some because it's impossible to get points at the Grand Cal or get stays at the Grand Cal right now, that 7-month window. So I don't know. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't know what I know. There's some other news. What other news have we?
Well, Tron, but that's not DVC only.
Yeah, I mean, Narcoossee's big. That's big. That's big news.
I do want to ask you, Terry. What as we're both bigger men. Have you seen the issues with Tron?
I think I'll take the alternative seat and be happy with it.
I won't. I have to have that. And judging by what I've seen, and I talked to people who have ridden it, I'll fit.
I think you will fit. I also don't think you'll be comfortable.
Well, I wouldn't be comfortable anyway. I'm not comfortable on Space Mountain.
Yeah, and so I think I've actually heard that everybody says that the backseat experience is just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand why they did it. Right. I understand why they did what they did. What I don't understand is the fact that, okay, we designed this ride for people in Shanghai, China.
Right. Why
did we not? I mean, they had, especially in the middle of doing this, dude, that they had to go and take the rows out of Remy because they designed it to fit 3 people across. And they had to go in and shave all of those down because it was creating a loading problem.
Really?
Yeah, because, dude, I mean, I, and one other person aren't going to fit on that ride.
True. Good point.
with the exception of maybe one of your children.
Well, so I do. It is easy to fit all of my family on the ride. Me, my wife, and the girls. My wife and I are in the front. The girls are in the back.
Well, no, but on one row, the one row is supposed to hold three adults. Is what it's.
No, it is not.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So they shaved all those are gone.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
yeah, I mean, dude, I was stressing out about Tron, and I'm glad they've made the seat situation. I don't honestly want to ride that way because my yeah, and I think, listen, I know it's like they're not supposed to make them fit everybody, but there's a certain point where it's like when you look at what the average weight of the American, you've got to kind of go. It should be a ride, should be safe 100 pounds either way,
Right.
and it becomes a problem with it actually becomes the bigger issue that people are having on the ride is women are having an issue.
Oh, really?
That are top heavy. I think I said that in the most
You did
politically correct way that I possibly could.
You did. Thank you very much.
That's becoming because the thing sits on, it basically squeezes you in.
Yeah.
And so, it's I don't understand why Disney's not. I don't get why they haven't made it a priority.
Right. Eventually they'll have to.
I will say the queue to get in the pass holder deal was an absolute disaster.
I didn't even get the email.
No, that's the thing. It's like, why did you not get the email?
Right.
Now, I don't know how many pass holders there are.
Apparently a lot because I didn't get the chance to ride it.
That's not possible.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, Florida people are still allowed to. They can still buy a pass. So pretty much everybody in Florida.
Yeah, but they can only go on the days their pass was active unless they've renewed. I don't know, dude. It just.
Yeah, lots of questions.
I mean, what's the ride capacity for Tron?
Not a lot. So it's a short ride. I think I read somewhere it's like 860 an hour. So
no,
it's very short.
That can't be possible, dude. 1680 in Tokyo or in China.
But China is about 30 seconds longer.
It's shorter too.
This one is shorter.
Yeah. They have 7 trains. How many trains do we have? Do you know?
I don't. But they because of space, they had to make this Tron shorter.
Okay. Anyways, 1680. Still, yeah. I mean, an hour. So you're talking about, let's say we do 12-hour days times 10 days. That's 201,000 people. I don't think we have that many annual pass holders in Central Florida. I may be wrong. And that's only 10 days.
Yeah.
And that's only a 12-hour day. That park's open a lot longer than 12 hours. Now, granted, they're only doing limited, and there's this, and there's the DVC. I don't know. Something. I could have stayed. We almost stayed extra because we had an opportunity to ride on Wednesday night.
Oh, you should have.
Dude, I've been gone for 3 weeks almost.
I don't care.
And the point when I almost stayed. It was close. It was.
Yeah. Understand.
You get to the point at the end of the trip where it's like we could have probably gone and done it and still made our flight. It just wouldn't have been fun.
Right.
And add with the fact that the whole backseat thing, and probably only getting to do it once. Yeah, it just wasn't worth the 90 seconds that I was going to get. It just wasn't worth it.
I understand now. I do.
So, dude, don't get me wrong. I would get on a plane to go tomorrow if I could go ride it.
Why do you think I'm going in April?
So you got you did get a on someone's.
So no. I'm going actually when the ride officially opens.
And you may not get to ride it.
Well,
it's $16.80 an hour.
So here's what me and my buddy are doing. We're going for Happily Ever After on the 3rd. The Tron opens on the 4th.
We didn't get in Guardians queues the days we tried in the morning.
Yeah, we're not. Well, Guardians is not selling out now apparently.
But we didn't get in the mornings. We got in the afternoons, and the callback times were real late.
Yeah. Well, but so I will gladly pay Lightning Lane for Tron.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get up and pay Lightning Lane.
I'll keep that in my pocket. I don't care. But we're not going on the 4th. There's no way I'll be there on the opening day.
Yeah,
we're going on the 5th to Magic Kingdom.
I hope you get in, my friend. I'm hopeful for you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Because if you don't, we'll never hear the end of it ever.
You got that right.
Yeah.
I'm going down for Happily Ever After, just to be honest with you. That's one of my big things.
No, I have a wedding to be at the 1st, or I would have gone with you that weekend.
I offered.
And I'm going to the Disney 100th. And I'm still tempted to fly from Philadelphia or Baltimore on the 2nd. Just meet you in Orlando.
Come on, that'd be fun. Just make a weekend of it.
What are the gold passes blocked out?
I think you can still go. Let's check. Disney Gold Pass.
Or what? Not gold. They're not gold anymore. What are they? What is that thing called?
I don't know.
You have the big one, or do you have the?
I think I've got gold. I don't have the big one.
The sorcerer is what it's called.
Yeah.
The sorcerer pass.
The only days that's really blocked out for me, it's New Year and Christmas and a little bit of
they've changed it because it used to be that's kind of an interesting trend. There used to be spring break that you were blocked out.
Right.
Now you're blocked out Thanksgiving and Christmas, basically. A longer time at Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Currently. Which I'm okay with.
I don't want to be there then anyways.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just Christmas and Thanksgiving and a couple of days into the new year. Done. Yes, the Sorcerer Pass. That's what I've got now.
And right now, the 5th is still available.
It is. So come on.
Yeah, the only dates that are unavailable right now are the 9th and 10th of March, the 12th of March, and the 4th of April.
I wonder why the 9th and 10th are blocked out. Huh.
Who knows?
And it's the only park.
Yeah, it's always gonna be. If it's gonna be any park, it's gonna be
Magic Kingdom.
Magic normally.
Yeah.
Unless there's, something releasing it
that we don't know about.
Well, I think we ought to wrap this thing up for sure. We've lollygagged enough. Let's try to get in a report before you head out the next trip.
Sounds good.
A family trip or a dude trip?
This is a family trip. April's the dude trip. Can you not hear me again? Sunny Beach. I hear you now. Say something. I hear you. Hold up. There you go. You're talking. You're talking. Yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, I'll end it here. So edit point. So yes, so this is the family trip. The one in April will be the dude's trip. But guys, thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all next time on the from our quarter booth. So from Top of the World, I'm Dave Adams. That's Terry Weaver if you're watching us on live. But he will talk to you next time. We'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.